I hope you have your coffee. There we go. And we are live now on all the other channels. Perfect. Hey, Shen. Good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Kyle. How was
Yeah.
the evening?
How was the evening yesterday? I played board games, being a nerd as always. How was yours? How's your
Nice.
conference?
Conference is busy. I met some amazing women last night, local businesswomen here in Lisbon. So hopefully going to bring Launch Lemonade here soon.
Very cool. Spreading the word. Right.
Spreading the word.
Today, we have another cool article that we're going to be discussing. The premise of this show is Shen and myself, we jump on every single morning. We have coffee. I literally have my coffee here. And we're going to discuss something that we think is interesting in the AI world. It's not necessarily going to be the most authoritative. It's not going to be the most research show. It's not meant to be. The whole idea is that we hop on, we bring something that we find interesting, and we just chat about it. And we're inviting other people into the chat to be with us here live, so that it's like sitting with two friends who are interested in AI every morning over coffee and talking about what's new, what's interesting, what's overhyped, and basically helping to flesh out your AI knowledge through this kind of informal chat. So that's where we are today. And shall I introduce what we're going to be talking about today, or have you had
Yes.
time to have a look? In the spirit of not over preparing, because I know both Shen and I would want to over prepare, what we're doing is we're choosing an article just beforehand, making sure to read it, but then that's it. We're not writing out extensive notes. That's not the point of this show. So the article we're going to be talking about today, and the subject as a whole, is AI overviews. Do you want to kind of introduce the concept of what an AI overview is?
Sure. So if in the old world, when you do research in Google, for example, you would
6 months
get
ago.
different 6 months ago
The
in the
old
old
world.
world. The old world. That was probably just a couple of months ago in Google,
Not
actually.
even 6 months, yeah, because
Yeah,
they released AI overviews and then they pulled it back, didn't they? Sorry, I'm
yeah.
interrupting. Yeah, the old world of six
No.
months ago.
In the old world, when you would go on Google, or like if you're looking for something, if you're looking for information, you would enter keywords. And then what would happen on like the search results is you'd get different websites who would rank on that first page. Now, an AI overview, on the other hand, is the Google summary. So you get an overview of the information, the actual information that you're looking for, instead of different websites being ranked. Is an example of an AI overview. In ChatGPT, it's different. So if you're having a conversation with ChatGPT and you're looking for examples, now it has the ability. So this was just a couple of weeks ago.
Hmm.
Now it has the ability to look at the web and then find you relevant resources. So it gives you information, and then where it can get a resource, it would give you, information
So I
or
think we've already
links.
run into an interesting, not problem, but a challenge here. Already, there's a difference in terms here. So AI overviews tends to be what we call at the top of Google. You might have seen it when you put in a search term, as Shen said, and it comes out with an overview. So you don't need to go to a website. It just gives you the information right there. So you're looking for a lasagna recipe, for example, and instead of having to go into, I don't know, BBC Good Food, I'm showing how British I am here, it will just give you the recipe right there. That's AI overviews. But then we also have SEO. What is the term for it? Are we using AIEO? Uh, AI engine optimization. So how can you make sure that your business is shown inside of a tool like ChatGPT? And then we have this further one that Shen just mentioned, this confusion where now ChatGPT has launched a search engine called SearchGPT. So all of them are kind of getting merged together. There's AI
Mhm.
overviews, which is specifically on Google, more or less Google right now. There's internal AI results, and then there's AI search results from SearchGPT, and it's all getting blurred up. But the point is, I think this is the big takeaway if you are a business owner. People no longer need to go to your website. They don't need to access your website to access information that you have published. And I've done SEO for my companies and client companies for decades now. And the whole purpose of search engine optimization was you would put valuable content up on the internet in order to drive traffic from Google. This is the whole reason why we have blogs. The whole point about a blog for a business is to have a steady source of information that is being published that Google can pick up and then bring use that to rank you on Google and then bring traffic into your website, that's gone, or it's on its way out. I think that's probably the most important thing here for business. And lots of businesses are working out like, well, what does this mean for my website? And how am I going to bring people to my website?
Absolutely. So in the old way, this is how I used to put it, we had to learn how to use the technology. So we had to learn how keywords work, or if we were a brand, we had to learn how to incorporate keywords into our websites based on the assumptions of what our audience are looking for, and then matching that to their search.
Or what
So
Google
people,
thinks our audience are looking for.
yeah,
This is
exactly.
this has always been the weird dilemma in search engine optimization is we need to tell Google what it is we have, but we need to make sure that it's still valuable for human beings. So we're pleasing the algorithm and the people, which is a balance.
Yeah. However, in the world of AI and conversations, it's actually just using human data, the actual behavior. So now the technology is learning what people need and providing the information based on what's actually being conversed about.
Mm. And that's appearing directly at the top of Google results. I don't know if this is in every country. So we may have viewers in other countries who haven't seen this yet. But it's literally, I will type in best running shoes or good running shoes. And what used to happen before, there'd be a listicle or a review website that I'd go to, and it would have a list of running shoes I could buy. That's no longer the case. Well, sorry, that is the case. That's still there. But above that, sitting right at the top of Google, is basically an AI generated result saying, hey, you should check out these particular shoes. It's not taking me to a website. It's just giving me the information, which I, for one, as a user of search engines, find much more useful, much more useful. So I think this is great for the actual user.
Absolutely. I'd go further than that. So in the old world, old world again, you would look for best shoes. And then maybe the next search is best shoes for best shoes for feet with X problem. I don't know what the feet problems are.
My feet go like this. They pronate.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
best shoes for pronating, for runners with pronating feet, for example.
Exactly. And then you'd go on about search, you'd probably check different websites and then look at reviews on these different websites, maybe ask a friend, maybe ask a doctor, and then you'd probably complete that purchase, let's say a week minimum if you have like special, specific needs. With AI overview, you could literally say, I have this budget, this is the type of feet that I have, and I'm looking for a store that could deliver these shoes tomorrow. And then you could literally, the AIO would literally give you kind of like an overview of your options and the links to those options as well sometimes.
We're going to have to stop talking about feet so much, otherwise these streams are going to get flagged up.
Okay.
We're not on Twitch or OnlyFans yet, but additional streaming sources. So
No,
I think
same with travel, for example, as well. Like if you were to go on holiday, how long would that take you to plan a 5-day itinerary?
that's a
With
great example, which brings us to the article itself, actually. I'm going to give the link for this article below. But one of the things they did was they did exactly this. They said, hey, I'm going on a trip to... trying to sell me something. I'm going on a trip to... I'm unable to find it now. It's a long article, so I've linked it in. Here we go. A 2-week itinerary in the Netherlands, and the AI overview was able to give that whole itinerary. And you can see, if you're not on TikTok, but on one of our other streams right now, you can see the result it gave was huge. It gave a 3-day itinerary. It's given, sorry, no, a 14-day itinerary with all the places that they can go, all the places to eat, like it's extremely detailed, and that's sitting right at the top of Google. So instead of having to go into travel blogs, instead of having to go to Expedia, instead of having to go to all these different places to piece together this information, the AI has just said, okay, yep, done, and given them the information, which if you run any of these websites and you are depending on any of these search terms for traffic, is scary. It's going to have an impact on your business.
Absolutely, especially if you're heavily invested in paid ads, because that's no longer going to be relevant. You paying for search Google ads will not guarantee you any placement on the overviews at all
At the moment.
at the moment.
However, so this is going to be an interesting one. Google, about 70 to 80% of Google's revenue comes from search. They do not make money off Gmail. They do not make money off us using Android phones, for example. I mean, they make small amounts of money, but the bulk of their cash comes from search engine revenue. Specifically, that is advertisers paying for paid results at the top of Google. That's where Google's money comes from. So Google has become a top, what number company is it now? I don't know, top 5, top 10 company because of this, because of people going to Google and finding information, and then Google being able to add advertisements to the top of that. That's under threat right now. So Google could cease to exist as we know it within a very short amount of time, which I think is why they're moving into AI overviews in order to keep the traffic. But as you say, if they're not running adverts on the AI overviews, then they're not generating revenue. So they're not actually saving themselves. So I think Google right now is in an extremely precarious position.
Absolutely. If you've noticed, they've launched a lot of products recently, and I think they're scrambled to win somewhere. So, like earlier this year, they were talking about the computer vision, doing loads of things. They are still doing loads of experiments around like the health tech space. They're also doing a lot of work around Google Workspace right now and how that would plug in these AI interfaces. I think that could be a potential win for them. But you're right. Like for a decade, I don't know, a decade, more than a decade, they've heavily relied on people using Google. They've taken that market share. Everyone started using Chrome or, like Google.com. And now that's just shifted. No more paid ads are no longer relevant. So I think they're scrambling a little bit, trying to win the AI game. And it's going to be scary for them.
Yeah, I think they are in a lot of trouble. This is not an investment podcast, so don't take any of this as investment advice. But I think Google in 5 to 10 years' time is going to be different. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So this article here actually discusses this. It says, look, right now Google are not running paid listings in the AI overviews. I wouldn't discount the fact that they will. So Bing already does this. Sorry, not Bing. If you use Microsoft's Copilot, it actually has. I think they're still doing this. I haven't checked in for a few months, but it had paid results within their AI information that was being provided, and they would flag it up and say, "Hey, this is a promoted listing." But that was, I think, when they came out with that, a lot of people immediately like, "Oh God, oh gross, this is horrible." So whether or not Google are going to be able to transition and add advertising into their AI results, it's to be seen. I want to actually show you something from this article, which I think is probably the most important thing, is this. There's no ranking guarantee. There's a bit more data on it here, but basically, if you would assume, let's say I've got this running shoe business and I have 200 articles all about buying the best running shoes. And right now, if you search on Google and you search best running shoes for pronated feet, I'm there. I'm sitting there as the top result. So I've done really well ranking my article using search engine optimization in order to get to the top of Google, which for many business owners is a dream because it means a steady flow of traffic. So you would assume I've put in the last couple of years of work doing this. I've got to the top of Google. I rank really well for these results. You would assume it's going to be my information that's used in the AI overview. Seems like a fair assumption. That is not the case. So SEMrush, I've just learned it's SEMrush and not SEMrush. I haven't been saying it out loud, but SEMrush, the people who put out this article went through it and basically, here we go, correlation between URLs in the AI overview and the top 10 organic position. You might wonder how much of a guarantee it is that your organic rankings will show up in the AI overview, whilst there is some overlap between organic search results, so ranking on Google by writing blog articles, for example, and AI overviews. The basic takeaway is that these URLs are never the same. So ranking your web page or your post is good. That kind of gets it into the running, but it's not necessarily going to be the URL. It's not going to be the web page that is recommended each and every time on AI overviews. So it seems like there's a different algorithm in play that is not the same as what is used to decide which website you're shown. We don't know what the algorithm is. SEMrush don't know. People, I'm sure, are trying to work this out right now. But just because you've written good blog articles, just because you're ranking well on Google, does not guarantee that you're going to be the links, you're going to be the resources mentioned in the AI overviews, which I think is even more scary for business owners.
Scary and very interesting for us who are interested in this space. Like, because how AI is built, and it's still a black box, but it transforms information. It basically takes in the input, tries to understand it via tokens, and then within itself puts together tokens, or with, let's say, data or information, and then based on the input will give a unique output each time, so it's going to transform information.
Mhm.
Now with search and capabilities, in meaning it can get specific information from specific websites, there's a lot of things in play there, so it's transforming information based on the assumptions it's made using the input that the user has given, and then also considering mentions, content. So it's a puzzle.
Yeah, and one that people haven't worked out, including SEMrush, who are an SEO company. I think a lot of these companies, like the people who wrote this article, SEMrush, God, I'm blanking on the other tools, but there's a lot of SEO tools out there. They are also trying to work out what they're going to be doing because their business has relied on helping people get to the top of Google. So all of these SEO companies, so if you run an SEO agency or you run a tool like SEMrush, now there's a bit of a scrabble to work out, okay, if people are not using Google to find the information anymore, what's the value of SEO, and therefore what's the value of my agency, what's the value of my tool? So right now I think there's a big transition for the whole of that industry, working out how to take advantage of AI overviews, but also how to rank within something like ChatGPT. I saw a really interesting tweet just this morning, which was, it was a bunch of people at a swingers golf club. It's a mini golf club called Swingers. Great name.
Yeah.
Really good name. And they were there because the New York office put into ChatGPT, where's a good place for an offsite for, not an offsite, for a recreational activity. You can tell I don't work in an office. Where should office workers go for fun? Whatever they put in. They put in this asking, where should we go? Where should we take our team? There we go. That's nice. That's human language. That's what a human being would say. And it said, hey, you should check out Swingers Golf Club in New York. And they did. So it's not necessarily going to Google and finding this information. It's going into an AI or relying on AI overviews. And that led to them going to this mini golf club. And that means money is being shifted from whoever is top of the search results normally to new businesses who are appearing in the AI results. So this big question is, okay, how do I make sure that I appear, my business, how do I make sure that appears in the AI results? And I don't think we have an answer. I mean, maybe you do.
No, no, absolutely not. Like, so if you think about ChatGPT and what type of data it's been trained on, the resources that it's used to train, the models. So
Mhm.
initially, it used Wikipedia, Reddit, books, and then the internet. So it's been it's been trained to transform all of that data. So if you use that as part of the hypothesis of how they would, what type of information they get and the resources that they get, you'd assume that you'd have to be in these channels as well, and it's being trained on and updated on as well every X amount of time.
Hmm.
So knowing that the resources that it uses, And then thinking about as well, let's discount the fact that there are other means as well that they're using now, like synthesizing data. Let's not even talk about that. But then with the ability to call the internet, that is going to be kind of like a formula that you'll have to, right now, as consumers and as brands, will have to make assumptions based on those, like how, knowing that these are the resources that they're using to train their language models on,
Mhm.
plus now the ability to call the internet. How do I use this information to then try to make sure that my brand is on are on these interfaces? So I've been experimenting on this since late last year. So I looked up, and I wasn't an AI speaker then. I looked up who are the top 20 speakers in AI in the UK. And then I made some assumptions. I made some notes about how these people were deemed as AI thought leaders in the UK.
Mm.
I did a lot of research on this, like really looked at what made them um, thought leaders, and I found them on Wikipedia. I found them on Reddit, and then I found them on a lot of articles, mentions. And so I've made some hypotheses on that. I've been working on like putting all the resources together as well to get me there. When I did the research, when I did a follow-up research in March, I wasn't even like in the top 100. And then I put more work in, and I'm slowly inching in, but yeah, it's still a minefield. But yeah, it's quite interesting.
So that's similar to backlinks in search engine optimization. One of the signals that Google uses, traditional Google, old school Google, is something called a backlink. So what websites link to your website, and that is used as one metric for quality. So, for example, if the New York Times has mentioned my website and they've linked to my website, Google sees that as a very positive signal that my website is legitimate. So it sounds like a similar kind of concept where we're looking at what information AI has on us, whether it's going to be Reddit, whether it's going to be newspaper articles. And so if we focus on getting ourselves into these high quality sources, then potentially that's going to help us to rank better. I'm saying rank because we don't necessarily have a word for this yet. It's going to help us to be more visible within AIs like ChatGPT. There is, have you been following the Angus Steakhouse drama?
No,
So,
I haven't.
in London, a lot of Londoners get annoyed about the fact that whenever there's a new restaurant that's really cool, it gets overrun with Instagram influencers, and you cannot get in. The most recent example is Black Pig in Borough Market. Do fantastic sandwiches, really good sandwiches. You cannot get a sandwich there now because there is a queue of 150 people standing there to get a sandwich, take a photo with their sandwich. So if you just work nearby and you want a damn sandwich, you cannot get it because it blew up on Instagram. So what Reddit's been doing, and this I think connects to the fact that
Oh
Reddit is
my
being
God.
used as a source. Reddit has decided, okay, let's blow up Angus Steakhouse. Angus Steakhouse is, I'm trying to think of an American equivalent or a global equivalent. It's like the Hard Rock Cafe. No, not even as cool as the Hard Rock Cafe.
Maybe
It's
IHOP or something.
yeah, like an IHOP or an Applebee's or Chili's or yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a
yeah,
Chili's. There we go. It's like a Chili's.
yeah.
Um, so the people of London Reddit have decided, okay, let's blow up this Angus Steakhouse. Let's make it the place to go so that we can send all the influencers there. So what they're trying to do is trick the AIs into saying that Angus Steakhouse is the top spot to be. So it's the Leicester
Clever.
Square, the Leicester Square Angus Steakhouse in particular, which is horrible. Like, yeah, you wouldn't go there normally, but they're posting photos, they're posting videos, they're posting text reviews with everybody being like, "Oh my god, the queues outside Angus Steakhouse! Like, there's no way. There's such a cool hotspot." So they're trying to
Oh
get
my
that
God.
information into the AI in order to so that information spreads, which is a very interesting counter use of search engine optimization or AI engine optimization. So I imagine we'll see a lot more of that as well, which will require a body like Google to be filtering this information to work out what's true and what's not. Obviously, this is a very funny example, and I fully support them. But if people do the same thing with political figures, for example, and then we're getting AI to spout information about a political figure based on what we've force fed it, the information, we end up in a very interesting position. It's the same with Google results. So, like, you can rank a website that has false information on it. It's just with AI, because it's more of a black box. I don't know what the moderation is going to be, if there's going to be any moderation.
Yeah, I think I coin it, well, like I call it product discoverability. Like, how do you get your brands or products discovered in these interfaces? I've been asking this question about like how, our own brands or brands are gonna be in the conversations and experiences. So not just within ranking Google, because that could be irrelevant anymore. That could be irrelevant. Like, people might not need Google to find the answers that they need. They could just go to interfaces like ChatGPT or Perplexity, for example. So how do you become discoverable? And just going back to the point I made earlier about the tech now having to learn us, you also have to understand that these technologies and these interfaces are also taking in live data points from its users. Where are you? What's your gender? What's your demographics? And using all of these data points, and we call them events, to then give you the most relevant information. So it's not just about, again, moving away from keywords. It's not just about what you're typing, even, but it's about where you are, who you are, the assumptions that it's making, and then giving you that relevant information. So it's becoming more customized, hyper personalized, but also for brands, a total mind F.
What's your feeling on that? Because I have friends who hate the fact that they, like right now in the current situation, they hate that they get tracked by advertisers and shown the correct adverts, or targeted adverts. And then I have other friends who are like, no, please, like, show me the stuff I want to see. If you're going to show me
Yeah.
adverts anyway, at least, you show me this new Lego set or whatever it is. You're not just showing me random cruises for the over 70s. You're showing me something that's at least targeted. We're going to see more of that, as you say, more hyper personalization, which for brands, for businesses, is exciting. But for the consumer, for the user, it becomes even creepier. I'm sure you've been followed around the internet by something you've looked at on Amazon. You start seeing it absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's great that we know that now, because personalization and us being influenced by the market has been happening without us knowing it, like
Oh
without
yeah,
us
yeah.
actually acknowledging it. And like the world, like globalization has been a thing because of that, because of heavy marketing that's influenced us. That's why Coca-Cola's won. That's why Amazon's won. And we, without us knowing it, we've been influenced to act a certain way. Google won because we've influenced to act a certain way with really smart marketing. Now, I think with us being more educated and knowing that that these interfaces are using data points to provide us with like unique information or unique results, I feel like we have more power now than ever. And I'm not saying that it's a lot of power, because we're still being influenced and we're still
Yeah,
being
of course.
marketed to. But I think the knowledge is allowing us to be more proactive in the choices that we make. Personally, speaking, that's my personal opinion. What about you? What do you think?
I have a lot of privacy tools going on my various devices. So I used to live in China, as did you. So
I
as a
did as well.
hangover from there, not because I'm trying to necessarily, well, it's because internet access is limited over there. So you need these tools just to get unrestricted access to the internet. But I've become used to using those kind of things all the time. So I'm fairly well protected, I think, more than the average consumer. But no, again, I don't particularly mind. It would also be extremely cynical of me to complain about it when I run adverts myself. So
Yeah,
if I'm going to be doing it for my companies, then I have to accept other companies and doing it to me. Like,
exactly.
otherwise,
Yeah,
that's a bit hypocritical.
especially in our roles, right? Like, we have to be informed and we have to understand how the technology works. And we
Hmm.
won't be able to do that if we don't experience it. Like I'm definitely, like switching on like, oh, what happens if I allow notifications? Like for a while because I was delivering push notifications for my projects. I switched them all on. So as marketeers, I think it's important for us to understand how brands are using information to
Mm.
provide relevant information. But as citizens, like as private citizens, as consumers, yeah, it's a tricky one. Like because you don't want to just be a sheep, or like you don't want to just consume everything that's in front of you. You want to be critical as well.
Hmm. Otherwise, you end up at a Angus Steakhouse because Reddit has told you to. It's always going to be a risk.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
so let's wrap up for today. Could you give us? I know you're giving an actual talk on this yesterday. Sorry, tomorrow. You're going
Tomorrow.
to be giving a talk. Could you give us, as business owners or entrepreneurs or people who want to start a business, a couple of action points? What should we be doing? And obviously, this is hypothetical because nobody really knows. But what sort of thing should we be doing in order to start to show up on AI overviews or in artificial intelligence searches?
Yeah. I think that instead of focusing on keywords that your customers might be looking for, reflect on your brand, reflect on what you really want to deliver, and then start using other people's chat interfaces, and then see if you are discoverable. So what I mean by that is, let's say I am an AI thought leader. Now on
Hmm.
my chat GPT, it's going to say that I'm a thought leader because I talk about being a thought leader in my own interface. But
Well, because of your ChatGPT memory.
exactly,
Uh-huh.
exactly. So, but what if you go to a friend's, or your families, or someone in the street, find someone in the street, and then see what is the
Grab
best
their
brand
phone.
for this. Grab their phones and
Yeah.
then see if people find you based on what you think you're delivering.
So
um
we can probably use, I might be wrong here, but we can probably use a private chat for this, right? Because
yeah.
sorry, not private, temporary chat. Because I think temporary chat, God, I need to check this. I might be talking nonsense here. Here we go.
Y-
Yes, temporary chat. It will not appear in history. Use or create memories. Okay, so we can use temporary chat as a.
yeah.
Uh,
Test. does
yeah,
does it have search? Does temporary chat has search now? Because I know that it didn't before, but I haven't checked it recently.
it does. Yes,
Okay, great.
I don't think
Yeah,
it did a
use
few
temporary
days
chat.
ago. Okay,
No.
let me try.
Okay. What did you type?
I don't know who these people are.
And while you're
Okay.
doing that, actually, you could
Hmm.
also look at what do you think does my brand do? So, for example, Launch Lemonade is my brand. What is Launch Lemonade? And see if these chat interfaces are interpreting your brands correctly. If they actually know what your brand does.
So you're braver than me, so I'm going to search your company, not my company. Ah, it
Okay,
knows who you are. Yep, this is
perfect.
good. Launch Lemonade. Here, I can plug you. Normally we do plugs at the end. This is a really organic way to do it. It would be an organic way if I wasn't saying we're doing it. Uh, so here we go. Launch Lemonade is a UK-based platform that enables users to create, deploy, and monetize custom AI services without requiring coding expertise. It offers a suite of tools designed to simplify the integration of AI into various business operations. That's good.
Yes.
Custom AI assistants, also known as lemonades. Users can build AI assistants tailored to specific tasks by selecting from extensive model library, defining instructions, integrating relevant knowledge bases, and customizing settings. It goes through all your features and benefits. Founded by Shen Solon, who also serves as CEO, Launch Lemonade aims to make AI accessible to a broad audience, emphasizing user privacy and ethical AI usage. This is great.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
that's pulled it. So it's also given me the sources. So it's pulled from a website called Literal Humans.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I guessed it as a podcast guest there.
so that gives us some useful information. If we want to, we now know that ChatGPT is looking at the Literal Humans website. So if I was trying to build up a brand in the same way that you are, I would see, okay, can I get on that podcast? Because obviously ChatGPT is referring to that information and pulling it in. And we could do that with other experts, with other businesses that are similar to us, in order to find the pertinent sources. Now, it's not going to be one-to-one because of the way we started with this, because of the way AI works. If I ask this question again, what is Launch Lemonade, in a new chat, I'm going to get a different answer, and it's going to give me different sources. But what that allows us to do is to ask this question 10, 20 times and find from each query, I'm going to be given different sources. So that allows us to map out the podcasts, the newsletters, the blog, the kind of sources like Wikipedia and Reddit that we should be targeting in order to hopefully be fed into a system like ChatGPT.
Amazing. I'm glad something came out, but that's really good. And the next test for you, Kyle, could be, who is Kyle Bomber? Yeah, we don't have to do it now, but that'd be interesting for the audience, about your brands. Like, these interfaces understand your brand? Is the action?
I'm going to do it because it knows me, because there are some other Kyle Bombers. There's an American football player. So he doesn't know this, but I've been competing with him on Google to I hope he's not watching, to knock him off. He's quite a famous American football player. It's like, damn it, there's a celebrity of my name. So I've had to knock him off my but no, it's me. He's the creator of Prompt Entrepreneur. So for me, my sources are Udemy, Prompt Entrepreneur, my newsletter, another Udemy, TikTok, and YouTube. Actually, 3. That's fascinating. I've got 3 links from Udemy.
Amazing.
Although I put up my Udemy courses maybe 5 years ago, but obviously that's telling me ChatGPT is using Udemy as a high quality source.
There you go. Yeah. ChatGPT, I've learned, doesn't use, like, it's interesting that it's used Udemy, because I never get TripAdvisor results on my searches for travel tips or location, for example. And I know that on Google, TripAdvisor is like a higher ranking site, or Viator, for example. So yeah, anyway, that's really good.
I've just got one more, so what I've done is I re-entered the prompt just by clicking the edit button and then sending it again, so that it regenerates the prompt. Basically, it's given me similar ones: Udemy, TikTok, my newsletter, but it's also given me this. He has authored multiple Amazon best-selling books on AI entrepreneurships and developed the Risen framework, a methodology for crafting effective AI prompts. Now, the source for this is ClickUp. Do you know ClickUp? It's kind of a project management CRM tool. They used my framework and they didn't give me any credit. And I kicked up a fuss. I was like, oi, like, that's mine. You need to give me a link. And they did. Bless them. They're like, and ClickUp's a huge company. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. I was like, come on, guys, give me a link. They gave me a link, and the CEO actually reached out, bless him, to say, sorry, it's just one of our staff writers. Really sorry about this. But now they've given me that link. So because I kicked up a fuss, got that link back to my website, that's being picked up by ChatGPT and it's being fed into my results. So it's definitely worth making sure you get recognized for your work, and you're getting recognized by big sources. I think that's absolutely a useful takeaway.
There we go. Experiment, and then we got some answers from our experimentation today. That's so cool.
I'm going to spend this is the rest of my morning, and I'm sure many of our viewers as well are going to be Googling themselves and their business and working out who's talking about them and what else, and well, more importantly, who's talking about your competitors. Because if you can get the same people to do so, you're going to rank better, or you're going to be more discoverable on AI. Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Cool.
Don't tell anyone about this yet, though, because, well, apart from who's watching, because I'm also going to be talking about this tomorrow to our summit
at the talk. Cool.
At the talk.
Hopefully none of them are watching now, because they'll be like, I don't need to go now. Well,
but
have
if
a good
you are
talk tomorrow.
Summit. Thank you.
And we will be back tomorrow morning, same time. You are free? Great. So same time at 9 a.m. London time. Recordings are going everywhere. I'm still wrangling the interface to make sure the recordings go everywhere. But we will continue to do this. We'll continue to refine and work out what this show looks like, and hopefully it's useful. We've received some nice messages already over on LinkedIn and Twitter saying, hey, thank you for the show, that was pretty cool. We are looking for feedback about how we can adjust it, how we can make it better, and yeah, hopefully it'll be a useful resource for anyone who's interested in AI and how it can be deployed for your business. Great. I'm gonna, do you want to do a quick plug of Launch Lemonade?
Yes, please. Well, my plug today is still the same from yesterday. I'd love for you to guys follow me on LinkedIn at Shen Solon or TikTok at Shen and AI.
And my plug is I am doing a webinar tomorrow at 6 p.m. London time. So one of the things that I do is I go and give workshops to businesses, corporations, and the pay for that is very good. It's between $1,000 and $4,000 per hour. So it's good cash. I'm going to be talking about how you can get into that and how you can start to give your own workshops to businesses and companies within your industry. So that's going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. London time. The recordings are available if you are in a different time zone, and the link is going to be in my bio. It's going to be the first button once you click my bio link. Cool. I will see you tomorrow, Shen. We'll find something else to talk about. We were terrible at keeping this to 30 minutes. We're at 40 minutes now, but we will. Yeah, I thought this might happen.
Try.
No, not you at all. Okay, thanks, Jen, and talk tomorrow. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Bye. Bye.